last night to celebrate Festivus, we did something spontaneous, and we went out, and is it called paddleboarding? It's like where you stand on that big board that's kind of like a surfboard, and then you have like an oar, and then you just stand there and you push yourself along the river.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Standboarding?
And
paddleboarding?
it turns out I'm really, really good at it.
Yeah, she's totally ace at it. I was really surprised. She just got out there, and you're kind of clumsy. So
I'm really clumsy. Like when we went caving, I got hurt a lot.
So she just got out there and stood there like a goat, like complete confidence.
It's weird.
A goat with a paddle. And I was quite uncomfortable on it. I think maybe my height might have something to do with the center of balance is too like high or something. Like I don't know. I was just wobbling around, so I sat down and.
You're just not a goat.
I'm not goating on it, man. So it was dark though. We went out at nighttime, and it's the first time either of us have done that, and that's kind of a strange thing to experience the first time you do it, and then not really be able to see much. There was moonlight, but it was still like it was pretty dark, and you're standing out on this river, and like you're wondering like what lives in this river. It's like kind of I mean it's a cool looking river, but it's not clear or anything. So it's like what's happening, but it's very, very calm. And we paddled down quite a ways with we had a guide and there were 2 other people with us. And the reason that there's no footage, of course, is because it was like dark. You'd just be seeing nothing. I guess I could just overlay a shot of nothing right now. This is the shot. And anyway, the reason we did it is because you can see fireflies on the river. And it was a little breezy last night. So as we're going, like I saw one firefly and one here and one there. And there's really very, very few fireflies out. But the whole experience was really, really cool. Just like, it was just so quiet kind of, and like you're just like floating down the river at night on your own little craft. It was really just like tranquil or something. I ended up laying down on the board and just like looking up at the stars and like just laying there, and like in your peripheral vision you can see the trees on the edges of the river go by, and they look really cool because they're like silhouetted like against the moonlight and stuff. It was a really cool experience. And then we just sort of came across this tree, and it looked like somebody had put Christmas lights in it, like all over it. And like from a distance, I was like, oh, somebody's put a bunch of Christmas lights in a tree. And if you get closer and closer to it, it's just covered in fireflies. Like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fireflies are just buzzing around this tree, and it's just lit up just like a Christmas tree.
I was standing next to it saying, I don't believe that.
Yeah,
it was happening.
It was unbelievable. And so it made the whole, I mean, the experience was amazing without it, but then we saw those fireflies, and it like double amazingly amazing? Can you say amazing?
Yeah, you just did.
All right, it doubled amazing to the experience. It was a Festivus miracle, would you say?
Yeah. Right when I saw it, I looked at Eric, I said, Happy Festivus. It was a Festivus miracle. I think I've literally sneezed 10 times in the last 1 minute. I have caught some sort of cold here, and I'm doing my best.
We're on the bike, and every time she sneezes, her head hits my back, and it startles me. I'm like, whoa, did she fall off? What's happening?
Sneeze means death. Tourist draw to Bohol, the island that we're on right now, is the Chocolate Hills. And we're riding from where we're staying to a place called Carmen. And Carmen is like the big place for where people go to see these, where you have a good vantage point. But as we're driving, I started noticing that we're in the middle of them. And they're just kind of clustered on the side of the road, and it's really cool to see your first chocolate hills and stop and go, wow! And then see the little baby hills in the background and just, oh, it's really cute. It's really cute.
It's phenomenal to me that you can come to this part of the world and drive across island after island after island, and they're all incredibly beautiful. This island is no exception. As we drive through like all these like rice paddies, and there was this forest that said it was a man-made forest, and it was just like, I've never driven through anything like this before in my life. Just these amazing trees going up over the road and everything. I just can't believe how many of these beautiful islands there are.
Oh, and then there's the pony with wings. It also flies. We can get the pony with wings. It's either the eagle or the pony with wings.
What about the shark?
Not getting the shark.
There's a red shark. There's a blue shark. It's amazing. Look at that shark. Look at it. Look at it. All right, you pick.
Let's get the pony.
Okay. Coming down the main road, there's a bunch of signs that say Chocolate Hills, and it's like supposed to be like the viewpoint or whatever. And you go up to it, and it's like overpriced food, and you have to pay a bunch, not a bunch, but you have to pay a couple dollars to get in. And our guidebook actually says that that place where everybody goes to see the Chocolate Hills is kind of, the hills are kind of obstructed by like booths selling like tourist things like t-shirts and things like that. So we were just like, man, screw their parade. So we just kind of drove off, and in a random direction out of a little town. Katie's GPS said Chocolate Hills on it, like this direction. So we were like, all right. So we just went down there, and we've been treated with this awesome view of the hills popping up in the background. And I think I read a placemat last night, and they said that the reason that they get their name Chocolate Hills is because during the dry season they're brown and obviously chocolate. And we're not getting treated to the brownness because it's not the rainy season. I believe the rainy season is in like February-ish. But we are being treated to the fact that there's just these hills popping up out of the landscape with no trees on them. I don't understand why they exist. The placemat didn't go into that much detail. However, it did explain that the reason that they are there is because they are the tears of a heartbroken giant. So let's just hope that Katie doesn't break my heart and we end up with more hills than we need.
If there's any reason to break your heart, it might be to make more of these. This is gorgeous. The clouds are just phenomenal. The blue is just phenomenal. The hills are they're more incredible than I thought. I just saw one that actually looks brown on top. That's cool. It might be the only one. All of the other ones are green. I think we're gonna end up calling them the Mint Hills or something like that. They're just really pretty. And I'm glad we came up this random road. God, I love random roads. The best. Hello. Hello. Merry Christmas. We've decided that it might be possible to climb a chocolate hill. Eric is braving the first run, and I'm just sitting here waiting to see if he gives me the go-ahead. He's behind a tree now.
This is not an easy climb. It's really, really steep. And the mud is kind of slippery, and it's kind of got like this green stuff all over it. I don't know what it is. It looks like giant bird poop, but it's like the mud is just like clunked together in these weird ways. It's really strange. Dude, you got your camouflage on. I can barely see you. From the bottom, it looks like if you got through those trees, then it would get easy, but that's not looking easier. That's just looking like really thick, huge grass. You got a machete?
I do not have a machete.
You got a...
I'm holding on to a tree so I don't fall down a hill.
That tree doesn't look like it's holding on too well. I would be careful.
We're working together.
He's holding on to you, dude. Yeah. You got like nail clippers or anything? Maybe we could use those to get through this?
I left them in the hotel room.
Dang it. Due to our absence of nail clippers, we are opting to just go back down the hill, which is honestly not looking like it's going to be a whole lot easier than going all the way to the top was going to be. There's a subplot today that we haven't explained. So it's Christmas Eve, and we don't have enough cash to pay for our hotel room, or this motorbike that we have, or the laundry that we submitted to the hotel. And we can't find an ATM that will like work with anything except for like local banks, local ATM cards. So I'm a little concerned that it's Christmas Eve and we're not gonna find an ATM, and then Christmas is gonna happen, and then we're not gonna be able to find an ATM that's open, and then we're gonna owe somebody a bunch of money, and then question mark. How do you think it's gonna work out? What's your bet?
I'm fine with all this credit that's happening. You know, we're racking up credit everywhere. It's gonna be fine.
You think it's gonna be all right?
Yep.
I think that's debt you're racking up, not credit. It's a little difference between the two.
Good point.
We're gonna give it another try. We found some more that look a little, maybe from a distance they look easier, but I think when you get up close it might be less easier than you think. These two hills that are connected to each other are a little bit easier, at least at the beginning. There's no trees or anything on the base, so walking up here is quite simple. But Katie stopped at a point a little bit ahead of me, and looks like maybe it's gonna get more difficult. Even as this gets thicker, it's totally doable. I think we're gonna make the top. We'll be at the summit soon, sir. We made it! Get the zoom on. That was quite a hike. It's not really very far. It's just like very up, and the grass is very slippery. Yikes. Oh my God, look at the view.
This is some Sound of the Music shit right here. Just start playing the track in your head and just spin around, and it's amazing. I can't believe it.
Let me see your arms, dude. What's going on there? You got toe up.
Yeah, the grass is basically like, I got a big cut on my foot right there. It's basically like just paper cuts as you're coming, and I'm surprised I am not more cut considering how many I went past. But I think that once I take a shower later, I'm gonna feel how many cuts there actually are. Something funny just happened. Eric went to landscape mode. Oh, here it comes. Looks just like what we're looking at.
Had to drive halfway across this beautiful island, which honestly, this island is not small, it's pretty big. So it took quite a while, but I found an ATM and it worked. There's always that moment, like before the money comes out, where you're like, is it gonna work? Is it gonna eat my card? What's gonna happen here? But everything went smooth. I got cash and my card back. I questioned the theory about the giant tears creating the chocolate hills, so I looked in our guidebook to see if it explained like what actually created it. I'm gonna read you what it says. It says, they were supposedly formed over time by the uplift of coral deposits and the effects of rainwater and erosion. That sounds perhaps more plausible, but the uplift of coral deposits in the middle of an island that's like where the island is got quite a climb up to where the plateau is, where the chocolate hills are. So I'm still slightly confused. If somebody can explain that to me like I'm a child, that would probably help a lot. So if you know, post a comment and let me know. Part of the thing too that's distinct about them is they don't have any trees on them, and my guess about that is that they're so steep and the mud on them is so like loose that the trees just literally can't grow on them. The one that we climbed has a tree growing right at the top, but it's like not on the slanted part area. It's like kind of flat at the top, and it's able to grow there, but that's it, one tree. So I guess it's a combination of like the mud and the steepness and the gears of a giant that keep those things so distinct looking. Pretty cool little features. It reminds me of some stuff that we saw when we were in Korea years ago, where people have built tombs that was shaped similarly to that. And gosh, it reminded me of something else while we were up there. It reminded me of the all of the temples that are in Myanmar. There's this town in Myanmar. Is it Bagan? I believe. And there's just like, you look out over this field and it's just like zillions of them sticking up. I had kind of felt the same way about the Chocolate Hills, where you just look out and there's just like an endless number of them, and it's just kind of like, didn't expect that. It wouldn't be a trip to a foreign country if you didn't hit up McDonald's, right? So we hit up the McDonald's in this little town. I don't even know where we are. It's just some little town that had an ATM. And of note, this is the first franchised anything I've seen on this entire island, including convenience stores and stuff. Like, I haven't seen anything that's even remotely like a franchised anything. And it's a big, beautiful McDonald's with really, really strong air conditioning. And it seems like there's quite a few people in here, so it seems somewhat popular. Got a couple of things, and one of them is not interesting, but I think it's important to compare. Cheeseburger. I can tell you right now, it feels cold through the package. That's not a good start. So I'm basically going to be comparing this to a Japanese cheeseburger because I haven't had an American cheeseburger in a very long time. The patty is not very appetizing looking compared to a Japanese cheeseburger. It looks different, doesn't seem to be pepper, but there's a little bit of pepper. But it's not like the Japanese one where it's really peppered. I guess it's kind of sloppy looking compared to a Japanese cheeseburger, but I mean, I'm comparing to Japan, like, it's probably not fair. It should be comparing to America, but again, my memory is fuzzy of McDonald's cheeseburgers in America. The ratios are on point though. Like the pickle and the ketchup and the mustard and the little onion bits, it's all the same.
Temperature?
It's not cold, but it's not warm. The bread texture is a lot different though. It's like thicker or something, and maybe that's because it's been sitting for a while.
I can kind of see it.
Yeah. The price of this cheeseburger, it's about the price of a Japanese cheeseburger. When I saw that, I was like, oh, it's kind of expensive. But then I realized it's because the yen is in such bad shape right now. It actually makes a cheeseburger pretty cheap. A cheeseburger was only 84 cents US. So I think that's cheaper than the cheeseburger in America. I'm guessing, isn't it like $1 or something in America? I'm not quite sure. So that's the thing that all McDonald's have, as far as I know, except for that one in Indonesia where they didn't have any cheeseburgers. That's another story. The thing that's bizarre, I've never seen this in another McDonald's, and I've been in like 20-some countries looking at McDonald's. Never seen a spaghetti before. So that's what a spaghetti at McDonald's looks like. It's got some cheese, got some sauce, and maybe a hot dog? That's a hot dog.
This is the most Japanese thing you've had.
That tastes like Chef Boyardee hot dogs. Like Chef Boyardee pasta sauce and hot dogs and stuff. This isn't normal. Their menu has got a lot on it that is different than an American McDonald's. Like a lot of stuff on there. I didn't see, they had like a chicken McDo or something that we saw when we were in the McDonald's before.
And that's for fried chicken.
Yeah, that's for fried chicken, which seems to be a majority of what they have is fried chicken stuff on the menu. Like, the menu is just, I mean, there's burgers on it, but it seems like the focus, and looking at everybody's tables, it seems like chicken is the focus here.
I'm not surprised.
This is Chef Boyardee. I mean, that's basically what it is. It fell out of a can. Kind of sweet. It's not repulsive, but I mean, I don't know if I'd call it spaghetti. Katie got some interesting stuff too. And she's gonna get a chance to try the fried chicken, I think, right? Is that?
It's just a big chicken nugget. It's deep fried, but it's not fried chicken. I ordered the chicken a la king, and that's basically just a large chicken nugget, and it has some sort of sauce on top. Just a cream sauce. Pretty buttery and very creamy. Not very exciting. Just kind of, I don't know what to compare it to, but
is it cold?
It's super creamy. No, it's not cold. But I did take a little while to get into it, so it's got that stuff on the top. But it comes with rice. And I love that they balled the rice up in a little packet like they would any burger. This is amazing to me. I love this, and this is very hot. It's also covered in gravy, which gravy is all you can eat.
What is the gravy for?
It's for the fried chicken.
Ah.
Yeah. So you can have as much gravy as you'd like with anything. I went up there and got it for this. There's my rice ball.
Oh God. I'm really surprised they do this in the Philippines, but they didn't do it in Japan. Like, I don't, as far as I'm aware, they don't have rice in Japan.
It's really strange. Rice is such a big thing there.
Yeah.
Wow, the gravy's really good.
Really?
That thing said hot gravy, but it's cold. But it's really peppery. The rice is steaming hot, so if I mix them together, I get edible, which is good. I would say that this is some of the strangest stuff that I've seen at the McDonald's, and I assume everyone here is enjoying it, but I would just stick to the cheeseburger.
Can you try a piece of the meat?
Oh yeah. Did I get a knife with this? No.
You got a Filipino knife.
I got a Filipino knife. Gotta learn how to cut properly. There we go. Give it a cut that way. So, I'm loving it. It's good. You know what? I said you would stick with the cheeseburger. I'd get the a la king again. It's kind of exciting and weird, and you can't get this anywhere else. And it's cooked quite well.
The price of the food here, like in addition to cheeseburger being kind of cheap, everything was kind of cheap. So like I made this breakdown on the receipt so you can get an idea of what everything costs.
This may be the best thing that I've ever read in my life. Everyone in here probably thinks I'm crazy because I am videotaping myself squirting from the free gravy container. Yes, the free gravy container. I really like the spaghetti that it's all over the floor. We're still at the McDonald's. We've been here for about 2 hours, maybe longer. Eric started not feeling so well, and he's probably been in the bathroom for a good 30 minutes, and I just asked him what happened, and he told me that he threw up a lot. So I think another country has taken him down. I'm not really sure what to do. And I know he doesn't want to be at this McDonald's, but we are about 40 kilometers away from our hotel on a motorbike ride, and we're in another predicament. I don't even know what to hope for. We'll figure it out. How are you feeling?
It's not a good review for the McDonald's, man. I don't think it's a McDonald's. I felt kind of off all day. I'm wondering if I'm sick from just sun, like being out in the sun, and we didn't have much water with us today, and I don't know. It doesn't feel like food poisoning sick, it just feels like sick. But I don't know, man. Time will tell. Could be an adventure.
Well, then I would say we should probably make a move, because you've got about 45 minutes to an hour if you've got food poisoning.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's food poisoning, because you would have thrown it's not from the McDonald's, it would have been from something else or something, I don't know. It's just too fast to be from the McDonald's. Like, I felt bad while we were making the video, it hit me. So, like before we ate, you know? But, yeah, I mean, at least the medical facilities in this country are better than they were in Myanmar, so probably won't die.
Alright, I think it is safe to call it. I think that Eric has food poisoning. And like I was saying, you have about 45 minutes to an hour until the next bout of uncomfortableness. And we've gotten about 45 minutes down the road and it hit him again. So we just see where this goes. And yeah, there's absolutely nothing that can be done other than waiting to see if he can figure out. Well, there's nothing to figure out, it's just waiting. It's so awkward, difficult. He's in pain, I can't do anything. Oh, there is a cow near him, so I think that that's a consolation. We're back in a situation that I'm very familiar with. Eric is in bed. He has showered and probably vomited possibly 3 times. And yeah, he's in a pretty terrible state. That sucks. I don't really know what to do. We do have some medication, but he's really worried that if he takes it, he'll just end up throwing it up, and then we're in this vicious loop of whether to take more medication or not. Not exactly sure what to do. But I can say that a few things. One, the roads are surprisingly good. He mastered that motorbike through all of the roads, and they were paved very nicely, and it made the 59 kilometers that we drove from when he threw up at McDonald's. Four throw-ups, possibly. It made those kilometers much easier than expected. We got about 6 kilometers outside of town, and he had a pretty big spell. But he manned up and he got back on the bike, and we made it back. Afterwards, I went and filled up the bike and tried to figure out where to get Sprite or Gatorade here in this city. No one has it. Sprite or Gatorade. Well, they have Sprite, but they have them in like glass bottles, so I can't take it away from their shop because they do recycling. It's really strange. So I found something and got him some bread. The other thing is that I'm quite worried. We have eaten the same thing. Everything has been the same since we got here. Like, I eat some of everything he eats, so I don't know if I'm momentarily going to get sick or if my immune system is just ridiculous. So I'm waiting to see how that goes. And yeah, we'll see. How are you doing?
Okay at the moment. Last night was pretty difficult though. Man, it's not good when you gotta like evacuate everything in your body and ride a motorcycle. That's not a reasonable combination. Nobody should have to cope with that. How far did we go? Like 60 kilometers or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was rough, man. Only 2 stops though. It's not too bad.
I mean, one involved a cow.
There was a cow. Cow's really comforting. I like cows. You watched. How are you feeling?
My nervousness about getting sick is gone. I don't feel as though I'm going to get your kind of sick, which amazes me because we really have eaten everything the same. But I still have a cold, and the cold has kind of hit my whole body, and so I'm sick. And we're both just... I feel like this is the part, like, this is where our videos become NASCAR. Like, we have hit a wall. Shit. Yesterday we found out that the hotel owner was running low on rooms. He asked if we were going to be checking out today so that he could give our room to someone else. And the guy that we're staying with is a bit eccentric and hard to talk to. He talks fast. Like, everything's making a deal. We're gonna make a deal with everything.
He's nice. It's weird.
He's nice. He's kind. He is welcoming and hospitable. But it's like, if we could just slow down one notch, that would be okay. So he told us that basically they were going to be full today. So we got kind of nervous, and around 11:30 last night I went downstairs and there was no one there. So I wrote him a note that basically said, my husband is sick. We would prefer not to have to leave this hotel. Can you let us know if you'll have a room available or something like that? At 6 o'clock he came and knocked on the door, and I was already up. Like, I knew he was coming. I could sense it. He sends off an alarm clock. And he said that he'd call an ambulance for us or get us to the hospital, and I told him that wasn't necessary. Like, Eric stopped throwing up around 11:30 last night, and we kind of got some meds in him, and he just doubled up on his meds, which is good. And the owner said that he'll have his wife come and check Eric out in a little bit. I don't know what that means. Maybe I can make a video of that, but it might be really awkward. Or maybe it won't happen. Maybe I'll try to avoid it, because he really is doing okay now. You saw him. He's not dead. But other than that, I've got a cold. Eric is fighting his food poisoning, and this is the part where everyone's watching the NASCAR.
I was in quite a bit of pain last night, like pretty much ridiculous amounts of pain. However, I don't think it's going to be as bad as it had been in the past. I feel like I might just be fine, like later today or tomorrow. That's just my guess. But I haven't stood up yet today, so maybe when I stand up, my stomach will turn upside down. But
was that some hopeful thinking there?
Oh no, I mean, it's just, that's how this goes sometimes. So, when are you going to get sick? It's your turn, man.
I have a cold. This is
that's sick. That's not sick. That's amateur shit.
Dude, I think you might be amateur.
Katie, I pooped with a cow last night, okay? On the side of the road, I pooped with a cow. I'm rocking hardcore stuff, man. I'm a professional.
A professional pooper.
A cow, yeah, with a cow.
You're a cow exhibitionist is what you are. I don't think we should keep going down this road. Moo. Door-to-door caroling is a surprising thing that's happening. It is Christmas today, and there are 3 ladies that are walking door-to-door with a ukulele singing Christmas carols. It is very nice. They sound beautiful. One of the people that lived at the house that I was making the video, they were actually offering me to come inside and have some food. I didn't take them up on it because I'm just not up for it right now, but that was very sweet. I keep walking past houses that have full brass bands in their living room, and they are just playing tons of music very loudly. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! They're just huge brass bands inside of people's houses, and it's intense. I can't believe it. There's tons of people in there. But wow, the music is just stunning. So the whole brass band just walks up to the house, and I guess they just get set up and then they blast out some jams. This house here kind of reminds me of Egypt when we were flying over and nobody had roofs. This house does not have walls. I love that I can see their table and their bananas and their kitchen. It's Christmas, and even though I have a little bit of a tummy ache, I still want to have a Christmas feast. So I came into, what were we calling it? Cold buffet. Yeah, we were just calling them cold buffets. So I've come into a cold buffet and I've gotten some meat and some vegetables and some rice, and I'm just gonna go to town on it. It's the standard affair, but it is Christmas and I feel like I should have something good, not just convenience store food, even though I've got lots of convenience store food. I found somewhere that sells Gatorade for Eric. He's gonna be very happy. It looks like I got here right when the lunch rush was coming, so I think I got like the best bites. I'm pretty happy about that. And now it's getting really busy. Benches usually have nice views. I wouldn't necessarily call this a nice view, but I would definitely call it an interesting one. The view from the bench is of a church that was shocked during a 2013 earthquake that hit this area. It has been ravaged by it, and they are still in the process of restoring it. I would say that this area does not have a lot of money, and I would categorize their money as present money. They don't have money to fix past problems or things that have happened already, and they don't really have money to restore things for the future. They have money for the present, and I think that means that this building isn't going to get restored for quite some time. I can hear another band playing like down the street. I'm shocked that there are brass bands, there's a lot of brass bands. Who would have thought? It's around 1 o'clock and I've gone on the hunt for brass bands. They're really spectacular. I can't even, I love ska music and I love horn sections, and usually you gotta pay a hefty price to get into a show and enjoy it, and I don't have to do that here. It's on the street and you get to enjoy it, and you can give them some money and they're really excited that you liked their music and that you're chipping into their lives and stuff. It's really incredible. But I've noticed that even though it's only 1 o'clock, all the old men are drunk. I had one old man ask me to come over to where his family was sitting, and he told me that he loved me, and then he asked me to kiss him. I told him that I had a cold, you know. I do, I'm not lying, but yeah, then he tried to get a kiss on the cheek, and I was like, you don't want these germs. Anyways, so I walked away from that, and then another man tried to give me a high five, which is like the first time that's ever happened here. So I was surprised about that, and I was so stunned I forgot to give him a high five, and I feel bad. Then the third old man was during the, you can see him in some footage that I shot. He's dancing next to the band. He was really excited about me. He danced with me, I danced with him, and in the end he held my hand for a really long time, and his wife or someone that was with him told me about how the bands go around every Christmas. This is what they do every year. And the old man told me he loved me, and that was that. So 1 p.m., this street, pretty toasted. Caroling is such a big thing on Christmas that the owner's wife of this, like the owner of the hotel, his wife has laid out a whole bunch of coins downstairs just so she's ready, like when people come up to the door. She's not even like, not gonna be reaching into the purse, it's all there and ready. I think she's got enough for like 50 caroler groups. I'm really hoping the brass band comes here. I don't know if you can hear it, but the brass band has showed up at our hotel and we were both kind of napping a little bit. We are up now. Holy crap. And I had thought about like trying to drag them into the hotel room and surround Eric, but it's so loud. It's ridiculously loud. It could kill him, I think.
Wait long enough, they'll come to you. Still feel pretty loopy in the head, but I think it's safe to say that was without a doubt probably the coolest thing that's ever happened to me on a Christmas. Like, the brass band came all the way to us, and they were amazing. So as these groups are coming around, it's basically customary for people to give them a little bit of money for their performances, and so Katie's been giving them a little money because they're amazing at what they're doing. And this group that came through gave us literally a receipt for the donation. I mean, it's such a small donation, like maybe $2 or something, and he hooked us up with a receipt. It's amazing.
Okay, so I'd say that I am definitely fighting a cold, and I am fighting something like what Eric has. I felt it in my stomach earlier, but I started taking the medicine, but my body is really, really achy, like in the joints, and I'm gonna try and describe the feeling that I have that tells me that I'm sick. The hairs on my legs feel like they have been goosebumped for hours. Like the hairs have just been up. And when I touch my legs, it feels like little bruises down my legs. And it's just the hair, and it's just because I'm sick. Like tomorrow I won't feel like this, and maybe a little bit later I won't feel like this, but that's what tells me that I'm sicker than normal. Well, I'm sick in general. Also, trying to keep two people moderately temperature happy that are sick is a little hard. Eric is interested in the cold, and I got the goosebump thing going on, so I don't want to sit in a sweat box, but I do want to be warm, so I've been huddled under my blanket, and I've recently put on my long sleeve shirt and my tights, and I just walked downstairs and I realized how crazy I look. It's really hot. It's not super hot, but it's really warm downstairs. Everybody's wearing shorts and t-shirts, and I'm rolling in with I'm ready to go on a nighttime expedition up a hill. I look kind of stupid, but I'm comfortable.
It's a day after Christmas now, and I remember basically nothing of Christmas Day. I remember the brass band, and that's seriously it. I slept all day, I think. I don't think I stood up at all. I just think I laid in bed. And it's now been like 48-ish hours, 46 hours or something, since I started getting sick when we were in that McDonald'S. And we're making a move, and we've got to get to another island because we have a flight, not today, but tomorrow morning. And we gotta be on that flight so we can start making our way to Manila, which will then get us back to Japan in a couple days. And at the moment, I'm pretty delirious. I'm really woozy. Everything's kind of spinning around. If I move my eyes quickly, I see like trails of light and stuff. But for the most part, I think my stomach is okay. So I'm not too worried. However, I do have to sit on a bus and then sit on a boat today. That's not the most exciting sounding thing in the world, to be honest. So we'll give it a go, and hopefully I won't die. And I've been thinking about this. I feel kind of like two ways about this. Like, I feel like I get sick all the time, but then because I got sick in Thailand twice. One time I'm gonna say it was my fault because I ate something that I looked at it and I shouldn't have eaten it. But so I got sick in Thailand twice, and I got sick in Myanmar, and that was really bad, and got sick here. And can you think of any other really bad ones? That was, so I've been to 25 countries, 26 countries or something, and really only gotten sick in 3 or 4 countries. Oh, India, but everybody gets sick in India. India doesn't count. So
India's just being perpetually sick.
Yeah, it's just part of the game. It's a tourist attraction there. So it does feel like I get sick a lot, but in the last 6 years of travel or whatever, it's really been less times that I can count on one hand. So I think that the reason that maybe it feels like I get sick all the time is because she never gets sick, except for last night.
Yeah, I had a cold, and I think I might have had a little bit of what you had because my stomach felt weird, but I started taking the medicine pretty quick, so I can't say if I had what you had. So I'm going to say I didn't have what you had. I did have a cold, and last night we woke up around 3 a.m. and I was running a fever of 101.6, What's up with that? So I took some ibuprofen, and then I woke up at 8 o'clock and everything was okay. But other than that, I don't really get sick.
One of the tourist attractions of this little town, actually maybe the only tourist attraction of this little town. Well, no, we
paddle boarding.
Yeah, okay, so they had the paddle boarding, that's true. So they got that place, and then they've also got this thing where you can, for lunchtime, go out on a riverboat cruise, and it's like they've taken these two gigantic pontoons and built a restaurant on top of it, and then pushed it with like a little cruddy looking like riverboat, and like you can go out, and it's kind of expensive. It's like 400 pesos or something for the meal and the cruise itself. And it's bizarre because it only operates at lunchtime. So we can't figure out why they haven't tried to do it at dinner time, because it seems like we were, why are people in this town during lunch is what I can't figure out. But maybe the tourist groups do like a loop or something that goes through the chocolate hills and stuff, and it just happens to like line up here for lunchtime, so they did like do an all-inclusive package so that all the people can just go out on that for lunch and then they move on with the day. That's my guess. We didn't do it though, so who knows? I just thought the boats looked neat.
We're in a jeepney heading for Tagbilaran, which is the port city, and there are 31 people in this jeepney right now. Snow.
In the land of many modes of transportation, we found a variation on the tricycle, and now we're in something that's a little different than what we've been in before, I think, right?
Yeah.
How would you describe this?
An armored tricycle. It's all metal. There is actually like a windshield in front of us and whatnot. It seems like a little safer of the modes of tricycling that are available, so I kind of like it because I feel like we won't get hurt, but maybe we just won't get hurt at all. I haven't seen anything happen on the roads here.
It also seems like if it rained, you might not get totally drenched. After like a 2-hour voyage, we've arrived in Cebu City, which is on a fairly large island called Cebu. But we're leaving in like 12 hours or something, or just a little over that, maybe 13 or 14 hours. So we're not gonna have any time to really explore it or anything, because honestly, I need to go to a hotel room and kind of relax, maybe have some dinner, and then get some sleep. Our plane is at like 8, so you know, then you gotta be at the airport at 7, so then you gotta leave at like, you know, 6, and then you gotta get up at 5, so it really just like starts chopping out the amount of time that you have to relax, and I'd like to not push it with the way my stomach feels. This all kind of bums me out because there's a little island right next to the city where Magellan, the explorer from way back in the day, he died like on this island while he was circumnavigating the planet. And his crew was the first to circumnavigate the planet, but he didn't make it. He made it here, and apparently there was like an uprising between two groups or something. So hold on, let me back up a little bit. I did a report on Magellan in like 5th grade, and I remember all these little things. So that's why I was excited to go to this little island and see what they've got, like a monument or something set up to where the battle took place. Anyway, so like there was two tribes or something in the area, and they were fighting each other, and then Magellan's crew sided with one, and then there was a fight, a big battle, and then he got killed during that battle or something. So yeah, I was excited to like check that out, and because I got sick. Not gonna happen, oh well. But that gives us a chance to come back and check it out in the future.
Is this Magellan here?
This is not Magellan, but this is a dude wearing clothes. I saw it, we were walking across the field, and I was like, oh, that dude looks like it might be a Magellan statue. And then I got up close, and it's totally not, but I mean, like, you know, I could have said it was him, and like, who would have known, right? He's got the shorts. So we woke up this morning and had a pretty uneventful morning. I got up really early, like 3 in the morning, and just laid there and stretched my back out. By the way, I hurt my back a little bit on a bus yesterday on a jeepney. We were just riding the jeepney. You know how like when you're sick and you throw a bunch and then your back like gets tired? Like those muscles, I like got jarred on the jeepney, and then I had trouble standing, and it's still pretty sore, but I stretched it out on the bed for a while last night. I think I'm okay now. The thing that's changed though is I feel all right. Like I don't feel that weak or anything from being sick. I got over that fairly quickly for how like violent it was for that one day. So we got up and we got on the airplane and we flew back to Manila, and we had intended to stay in Manila for a couple days. We had a couple of things we wanted to do while we were here. However,
I think I have dengue fever. This morning I kind of put all of the symptoms of how I'm feeling together, and I put them into the computer, and the computer told me getting dengue fever. So we don't want to get stuck here, and there's no reason for us to just spend time sitting in a hotel room in Manila, not going out, because I'm functioning, but going and doing anything is not something that I want to go and do. The plane ride was pretty uncomfortable. The symptoms that I'm having are a fever. I realize why they call it fever. The fever, the rash on my neck, my eyes are really sore. I feel a little nauseous and uncomfortable and achy. And this sounds like it could be a lot of things, but I think the rash for me kind of clinches it. That seems a little...
The rash did go away though.
No, the rash is still there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
It's not as itchy as it was, but yeah. But we don't want to get stuck here, so I can't really tell them that I'm sick or go to a doctor because I don't know how much it's going to cost, and I don't want to get stuck here and them not put me on the plane. So my plan is to get on the plane and then go to the doctor. Yeah.
So we moved our flight up a couple of days to make all that happen in a safe manner. And I think that might be the best idea. I could use some more rest. I'm all right. I could go out and do stuff, but I don't want to push it. And then she might have like a literally fatal disease, maybe. So let's not roll the dice on this one. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you think? When I say Philippines, though, what do you think?
Ants.
Okay, ants. What kind of? A lot of hotels do have ants here.
There's ants everywhere.
What do you think? What about things we did? What did you enjoy?
Not the ants. Things that I enjoyed. The zip lining was really cool. Just motorbiking around Canadian was great. I can't think of other things now.
I can list off a whole bunch.
Go.
Okay, so we rode on the top of that bus.
Oh, the jeepney?
The jeepney.
That
we
was
rode on top of the jeepney.
amazing.
That was really cool. And then we went caving.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was good.
I got really roughed up.
And let's see. We had that fruit and yogurt dish. Oh my god. You know what my biggest regret right now leaving early is there's a whole bunch of things we didn't eat that I planned on eating in Manila. Like we wanted to go to Jollibee, which is like their McDonald'S sort of, like their fast food joint, but I don't think that's gonna happen at this point.
And I wanted so badly to eat balut, and I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed because they know that I'll do that, but...
Right now is not the time to eat balut, dude.
No.
Next time.
A lot of things, just the smell of things is bad. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to try it some other time. It's a bummer.
It was also fun escaping that storm, the first one.
Yeah.
We beat it.
But it was really nice being stuck in the posh hotel during the second one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seeing the
man.
movie was fun.
If that hotel was free right now, I'd be up in that hotel.
I don't know, we did a lot. There was a lot of
Star
really cool
Wars.
things. Yeah, Star Wars. I said the movie.
Star Wars.
Yeah, you're running a little bit behind me, right?
Yeah.
If you saw my face freak out there, that was my back twitching. We look so rough right now, I bet.
We're gonna survive.
Are you excited to go back to Japan?
Yeah. It feels like it's a long way off right now. We won't be there until
7
p.m. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Japan time or
Our time.
I assume it's Japan
Yeah, I
time.
don't know.
So I don't know how many hours it is away at this point.
The good news is there's a ton of stuff left to explore in the Philippines, and I think we could totally come back here. I would like to fly straight to Cebu and just pick up where we left off. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
So we can come back and do another couple weeks here with no problem at all and still have a ton of things to do. Climbing up the Chocolate Hills.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was just 2 days ago or 3 days ago?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what pushed you over.
Yeah.
And then you started throwing up.
All right, you ready to go back? All right, let's go. How you feeling?
Hot. Very hot. And I'd like to take my temperature, but I don't want to draw any attention to myself until we are in the air. I want to be on the way. I don't want to draw attention to myself at all. I just want to get to the airport and that's that. But what I've just gone and done is one of my favorite things about traveling. It's spending the leftover money you have at the airport. And I think we were left with
$8.
300 and it was actually like 332 pesos. I had my math wrong, but 332, so around $7.
Yeah.
And so I went to all of the shops and I tried to find things. Eric had made the request that he wanted something omiyage-esque that he could give to people in Japan. And I ended up finding yema candy, and they're individually wrapped so it's easy to give them out to people. And yema was what was inside of the pastels that we ate in Kamigan.
Oh.
So, and it also I realized what it tastes like in Japan. I had the flavor, I knew the flavor, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but the lunch pack sandwiches, the peanut butter flavor, that's what these taste like. So good. Oh. So I think everybody's gonna enjoy these.
You actually found peanut butter?
I found peanut butter.
Ew, is it watery?
Well, that's what peanut butter does.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's oil.
Man.
When you grind it, it makes oil.
Yeah.
So I really wanted peanut butter. I've been seeing peanut butter everywhere, eating peanut butter at like, you're getting stuff all over the lid. You're a peanut butter noob, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been wanting peanut butter, and I thought that we would end up going to like a supermarket on our last day here in Manila, like taking it easy and just grab a few random things that we can't get in Japan, or it's hard to get peanut butter in Japan. You have to go to Costco, and we don't have a membership anymore.
How much was this?
This was $140.
That's not American cheap, but it's cheaper in Japan.
It's way cheaper than Japan. Like, you can't get it at a regular grocery store.
Is that everything?
No, and then I was left with 32 pesos. And I wanted to get Eric some Nerds, and I took the Nerds up to the cash register, and the lady told me it would be 80 pesos. The box of Nerds was like your average box of Nerds from when you were little. Like, it was $2. $2 for that box? So I had to put it back. I didn't have enough. I ended up getting a lollipop for 25 pesos. That's like 50 cents. That's the rip-off. But I'll eat it on the plane. It'll be nice. And that's what I afforded here at the airport. I got peanut butter. You're basically at the whim of whatever your stomach looks at and says, okay, I'll eat that. And the only thing in the 7-Eleven that wasn't turning my stomach was the strawberry-filled powdered donut. So, it's not that bad.
We got crazy hooked up and we're on a Dreamliner flying back to Japan with ANA, which is like a pretty good airline. And you can tell it's a good airline because they gave me the seat up front without charging me anything extra. So, I mean, I'm still in economy class, but I'm not crammed behind somebody that's gonna lean back and then have my legs not fit, like, because I'm literally the tallest person on the plane. It's really nice. Sometimes the airlines are like, oh, you're gonna have to chuck up for some money on that, and it's just like, it's not my fault, I'm gigantic. But anyway, it's a nice thing that they did this. But check this out. Look at this window. So this window has no shade, right? Like, there's nowhere to like pull the shade down, but it's got this thing down here. And when you push this button, you can see this light goes on it. And then as I tap it down, like I've put it down all the way now, the window is changing color. So now it's like slowly becoming darker and darker and darker. I guess they're doing that with gas inside or something, but that does seem a bit like an over-engineering of a problem that can be solved with a piece of plastic. I pushed the button back up now, and you can see it's becoming clear. That's amazing.
I'm actually kind of sad that we're leaving right now. I was having a good time until, but now I'm watching the Philippines go and I don't want it to go, but I can't stay in it. So I'm a little bummed.
We'll come back, man.
As long as they promise not to
Kill you?
Kill me. Yeah. Oh, hi everyone, this is Pepper. And Pepper is a robot that's made by SoftBank that can recognize human emotions. And part of my job is reading things for SoftBank, and I read a lot about Pepper, and this is the first time I'm meeting Pepper. And Pepper will look me directly in the eyes. Hello, Pepper. But Pepper usually talks, but maybe Pepper is in kind of like an off mode right now.
It looked at you all weird when we came up here, though.
It looked, and at one point it had pink in its eyes.
That's because I said something.
Hello, Pepper. It's so strange. But a lot of people have bought these robots and own these robots. Pepper's way cooler than I ever thought he or she was. Our brief visit with Pepper had distracted us from making the video we were supposed to make. We stopped at the quarantine station and I told the guys, I think I have dengue fever, and they just kept pointing us to immigration and not listening to what I was saying. And then finally we said it for like the 6th or 7th time and it hit them like, oh, they're saying dengue fever. Okay, so they took us over into this room and I met with a nurse and she went over all of the symptoms and when everything happened, and she said that we needed to go to a hospital in Shinjuku that has like the dengue unit. We don't really know why it was going to Shinagawa.
Well, yeah, the Shinagawa hospital has an international hospital, and because it's an international hospital, they have like the medicine for like international diseases, is what she said.
Okay, so the dengue unit. And the dengue unit's not open right now. She said that I could go there and spend the night there, but I'd rather just spend the night in my own bed. I've been spending the night in other beds, so I think I'll survive. If I'm dead tomorrow, oh my god, that's gonna be terrible, but...
She was under no concern of it being contagious or anything, though.
Yeah, which was good. We were worried that I was just gonna be put in a bubble for like weeks or something like that, because they did have a dengue outbreak here last year during summer, and it became a really big thing, but since it's winter, there's no mosquitoes around, so I don't think they're worried about it, and it's not contagious person to person. It's just contagious if there's a insect with a straw between the two of you. So we're gonna go to the dengue unit tomorrow and see what's up.
Two things. I forgot to mention this when I mentioned like things that I liked about being in the Philippines. One thing that is like really striking is they speak English there. Like almost everybody speaks English. So it gives you this really strange connection with people that, like in Asia, like we've never had that before, where there was just like English. It just happened and you could have conversations with like anybody, and it made the Philippines kind of like a really special experience, to be honest with you. Like we've been to almost every country in Southeast Asia, and that was the last one that we went to. And like out of the whole group, and maybe it should have been the first we went to, because I think that it's a little rough around the edges, but I think getting around would be easy.
You wouldn't have appreciated it as much if it was the first one.
She has a very, very good point. The second thing that I wanted to mention is that whenever we come back from like another Asian country, and we come back into Japan, I feel like a scrub the way I look. Like, I mean, I look kind of scrubby anyways, but I'm like at turbo scrub levels now. Everybody else is dressed to the nines, and like I'm like, you know, looking like that. And how are your? How are your sandals?
just-
No. How are your sandals doing?
Oh, they're gross.
Yeah,
I
they
love
are.
them. Look at
They are funky.
them. Yeah, they're the best.
They're not as white as they were.
I already missed something about the Philippines. I missed
What?
Gatorade. There were so many flavors of Gatorade. There were like 10 flavors of Gatorade. It was great.
I think you're drunk on the dengue, dude.
So we're back home and just wanted to show off the goodies in the mailbox that we came home to. The first part of it is the massive amount of advertising. We were gone for 2 weeks. That is a lot of advertising. Some of it is bills, but I would say about 5% is bills, 95% is, would you like this pizza? Yeah. But we also got a squeaker snack. Yeah, milk caramel. It's gonna be good. Thanks, Squeaker. Good morning. I woke up this morning, I felt a little bit better because I got a really good night's sleep and I had good food and I had lots of refreshment, so I feel pretty good. But we've come to the hospital just to make sure that everything's okay and talked to the doctor, and the doctor gave me the prognosis of it's probably dengue fever, but maybe it's measles. I apparently have rash on more parts of my body than I realized.
Yeah, there's spots on your back, I saw.
And he said that the incubation period for dengue fever seems about right, and the reason that he thinks it might be measles is because I'm coughing, but the incubation period isn't right for that. So I'm about to get a blood test to do my blood cell count and a dengue test. And now we're just waiting for the vampires to come take my blood. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. And he said tabun dengue. Okay, so the blood test came back and it is not dengue fever. And part of me was a little disappointed because that's like a big disease. It's like I'm beating up the dengue, but it's not the dengue.
Wait, you're upset because you don't have dengue fever?
Well, I'm upset.
Are you delirious?
No, I'm not delirious.
You need to mark the delirious box on your sheet here at the hospital.
Anyways, but now I'm kind of nervous, like, what is it? The doctor says that it might be this chikungunya. This guy. It might be this guy. What a dick. It might be that, and essentially what that is like, it almost seems like a new strand, or like it's the exact same thing as dengue fever. They can't tell a difference between it.
But it doesn't come up positive as a dengue
and
blood test.
it doesn't come up positive under dengue. It comes up positive under some other check that they do not do in this hospital. So you want to find out if you have it? You can. So I don't know. They've just basically told me that I need to go home and rest and drink lots of fluids, and they've given me some Tylenol for pain. That's what you do when you have the symptoms of dengue fever.
He told you to deal with it, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he doesn't seem concerned. It's good that you saw a doctor. They checked your blood, they checked your liver and all that stuff. And he said, like, if it was something serious, these things would have been screwed up, and they weren't. So,
Yeah.
like, everything is... I'm not so worried anymore.
I wasn't necessarily worried because I felt like my symptoms were pretty under check. So, and I think that it is that chikungunya. I think it is that. This is the Japanese pronunciation. If you know what it is in English, deal with it. I'm having to deal with it. You deal with it.
So, you gotta pay, right?
Yeah, I have to pay. And I went and I handed my folder to a man, and then the man put all the stuff in the computer and he gave me this. So now I come up here.
You're paying your bill at the hospital with a vending machine. This is pretty Japan, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to point out that not only is it being paid with a vending machine, it's being paid with cash. Cash. They've got a vending machine and also cash. No credit card. It looks like it takes credit cards though. That's an impressive thing. Press the green button, bro. So you had a doctor's visit and a dengue check.
A blood test that was not covered by insurance, and another blood test that was told about my vitals and stuff like that. And yeah, I guess that's all that I had.
Got paper. And it was 3,100 yen.
And it was 3,100 yen.
Take that, America.
So I was a bit distracted by the money bot, and I forgot to mention a few things. The first is, that wasn't the dengue unit, it was the infectious diseases unit. That's where they sent me. And apparently the doctor that I went to, the lady told us when we left the room, he's a very famous doctor for this. Sweet. Got the best medical treatment in the world. Awesome. And I didn't explain, you might be wondering, like, why is she only getting Tylenol for this? There's no treatment for
either
chikungunya or dengue fever. Neither of these fevers, just gonna call them the fevers. The fevers do not have treatment. It's essentially just bed rest and hydrating yourself and getting the bad stuff out. So I'm gonna spend the rest of the holidays just sitting in the bed. Woo. Exciting.
It's late July, and I'm putting the final touches on this last Philippines video. And I thought it would be fun to kind of not do a recap of a whole lot, but maybe a little bit of a recap of what's happened over the past 7 months, I guess it's been now, regarding Katie's, we call it chikungunya. I know, I'm not we're pronouncing it like Japanese pronunciation squashed in with English because we've never heard this word pronounced in English, so I don't know how to say it, but the chikungunya or whatever, the thing she got, so chikungunya, is that what it is? Yeah, okay, so tell the people, Katie.
So I definitely went home and I rested. The basic gist of the main symptoms of the disease are a fever, sore eyes, headaches, and arthritic joints. The joint that decided it was going to be arthritic for me was my entire spine. But the name of the disease actually says something about like being crooked, and like I just laid in bed like with my back kind of like this all day.
This was when we came back, right?
Yeah, so this was in late December, early January, and it's very good that we came back when we came back because I couldn't imagine trying to walk around with a backpack on my back with, I'm calling the spine thing sandy spine. It feels like there's grits of sand in your back. It's not comfortable, and it is a feeling that I've never had before. So I'm glad that we came back when we did. And
how long did it last that in January? Like it was like 2 weeks or something, basically?
It was about 2 weeks. My eyes and the fever and the headaches and the cold kind of symptoms, those were probably like a month. Maybe a little less than a month, because you have to think about all the time that I was mentioning them while they were happening in the Philippines. So
yeah, that's true.
Over that time span.
Yeah. So if you go back and you watch some of the videos that were probably after the 3rd episode, I think, she starts mentioning things like that rash on her neck, and we're like, what is that? Or she's mentioning things that I've now gone back and watched during the editing process, and I'm like, oh, okay. So there she's mentioning a symptom that totally lines up with this thing she ended up actually having. So yeah, if you watch it and you pay attention to that, you'll see her mentioning like, I feel a little bit weird today, or I feel nauseous today, or my eyes hurt. She says things like that a whole
the nausea.
bunch. Yeah, when I was sick, you were worried about getting food sick. That's not what was going on.
Yeah, I did end up getting nauseous. That is also one of the symptoms, but it wasn't a very prominent one for me. But on the last evenings, like I couldn't even think about eating meat. Eating meat was just kind of threw me for a loop. I did end up eating meat because Philippines is really into meat. But yeah, I remember that happening. The sandy spine situation lasted maybe a couple of days of like really intense, don't want to move, feel like crap. And then it was all going away as I went back to work in early January. So we're about 6 months later, almost 7 months later, and I started feeling like my spine started aching maybe like a month ago, and I started feeling weird feelings, headaches a lot, obviously the spine, which I already mentioned, my eyes a little sore, and we realized that there's a relapse period for chikungunya, around like 4 or 5 months after you initially go through all of the stuff, it comes back. And so I'm currently having like the symptoms of it right now, which is really interesting that the video is now going up.
Yeah.
It's almost like a reunion with your germs. And it has not been as bad, but my spine hurts right now. And I've had a little bit of a fever every now and then, and it's interesting. Oh, the rash. I forgot to name the rash. The rash is like, it happens all over your body. It's not itchy, but it did itch on my hands and my feet for like 3 days. And that was just terrible. I hate rashes on my hands. Oh, God, it's like one of the worst things in the world.
Today I learned. I didn't know that about you.
I used to get poison ivy a lot because I go play in the woods and stuff, and it'd always be on my hands, and it was really terrible. But right now, no like super issues, but still showing some symptoms. And honestly, the world, well, somebody in the world knows. This is a residential area, sir. That is like the scariest thing.
Yeah,
wow.
What a jerk.
Whew. So I forgot what I was saying. What a jerk. Anywho.
Is this going to keep reoccurring for your whole life, do you think? Do you remember?
I remember reading, one of the scariest things I read was that this will go on and it will affect you for the rest of your life, and that some people say that it messes with their life. Thus far, I don't feel like it is messing with my life. I feel like it's present, and I'm just hoping that it goes away.
Yeah, but I mean, there's not a lot you can do about it. There's no treatment,
oh God, there's
right?
nothing that you can do about it.
There's no treatment.
There's
it's just a
no
deal.
treatment.
Like the doctor told you, deal with it, basically.
The doctor said, take some aspirin. And I was like, all right. So that's basically all I can do about it is take aspirin. That's it.
Traveling is fun?
Kind of. I had an infectious disease.
But it was a good trip, though, yeah?
It was a good trip, and I'll be honest, like, some of the bad things that happen, like getting sick or having trouble along those lines, they're just part of the adventure. Like, I don't know. Getting into my bed for the first time and just crying because I was finally home was actually, like, a happiness that I wouldn't have felt so much if I weren't sick. So, you know, the extent of the good and the extent of the bad, they're part of it. And then
It's part of the package.
yeah, it's part of the package, and you should feel all those things while they're happening. I'm still feeling it.
Would you go back to the Philippines?
Definitely would go back to the Philippines.
We talked about in the video going back, flying straight back to Cebu, and then picking up from there.
Yeah,
That still sounds like fun.
yeah. And I'm immune now, so
Yeah, but you can get dengue and what's the other one? Zika is related to it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I think you can still get those. Maybe you're immune to those. Maybe you're a superhero now.
I was a superhero before.
Just been baking some more bread here. We're in the kitchen today.
Yeah, I forgot that we needed to make a video, and I started making eggs for soboro. And when you make eggs for soboro, you basically take a bunch of eggs, you add some sugar, and you add some salt, and then you just scramble until you get really, really, really tiny, tiny, tiny little eggs. So you do this for 20 minutes straight. So we're going to make a video while I do that. And if you've enjoyed the video that you just watched, you should definitely check out our social media, which you can find out more about that down in the doobly-doo.
Yeah, and the description. We're going to go there. We're going to start saying doobly-doo.
I think we are.
It's really hard not to.
It really is. It's a really cute way to say that.
So we have Facebook, Twitter, and we have a Reddit page too, but nobody really uses it. I think I post on there, but nobody else really does. And then, of course...
Obviously, go over to Patreon if you want to get more involved in our activities.
Yeah, like videos... So this is the last video of the Philippines series, and like without the Patreon support, like we wouldn't have been able to go this year, like flat out.
Well, that's really true.
These bigger videos that we have like this are supported and like funded. The production of the videos is funded completely through Patreon. So without the people there and without people supporting us, like we wouldn't be able to like continue making videos like this. So yeah, I mean, thanks a lot. And like, if you want to see more videos like this or have us like give us the ability to expand it out and stuff, if you're just like interested in the project, then helping us out at Patreon would be a big help. So yeah, thanks a lot.
Oh, and also you can comment, like, or subscribe to our YouTube stuff.
We're getting good at this, right? You gotta remember this. We're like, other people like, we watch MKBHD, and he just like so smoothly.
He's so smooth.
He's so smooth. Just drops in like, oh, down below, you like button, you can have a comment. Like, I'm just like, I have no idea.
I just figure I can get smoother if I add eggs to the situation.
So, yeah. Let's see, what was we going to talk about next? Oh, just do some questions. We had a bunch of questions from previous videos that, oh, I have a question. Did you catch any Pokemon today?
I did. I caught probably like
it was like a
15
seal
today,
or something, right?
And I went to work. Yeah, I had some fun with Pokemon during my lunch break and also as I walked home.
Nice. So here's some more questions that people have asked in the comments and in different places. Another question from Danielle from Patreon, and she asked, actually this is a question she's giving us from her fiance. So, yeah, her fiance says he wants to know if we'll ever write a book about our travels, because he said he would totally buy it if we did. And so a book. And people always say that, and I just don't think that a book would be as inclusive as the video series is. Like, if I was to write a book about things that we've done in travel, the first thing I'd do is watch the videos, and then I'd write about that. And it just seems like, as cool as it would be to have something in physical print form, it's almost like I would be relying a lot on memory and what I've seen in videos instead of writing, like, because we didn't like document like journals and stuff like in writing like while we traveled or anything. Like everything we wanted to document was just done with the video camera. So I think that's the purest form of like places we've been and experiences we had and stuff. I have thought about like it would be cool to compile like a book of like photographs and stuff, but again, we're not professional photographers, so I don't know. It would just be like goofy pictures of us with mascots and stuff. Like, it just seems self-centered almost to have a picture book or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. One thing I get, people want more like content in a way is the way what I hear when I hear that. And one thing we've thought about doing is like a commentary reel.
Yeah, like
like we just
watch our
the
own
video
videos and then remember what, like if we can remember anything extra about it, that would be maybe the best way to go about like getting that behind the scenes thing that a book I think normally would like offer a person. I guess that, yeah. So to me, that sounds more attractive, and that's still tied to video stuff. And like, we're not writers either. Like, I would have to have somebody like fix it. You know, she can fix it, but who, like, somebody that like a ghostwriter or something would be necessary. And it just seems ingenuine when I can just make videos instead, and it's like 100% the content we create, and it's not another person involved.
Did anybody else out there watch that Ghostwriter show, like when you were little?
Ghostwriter?
Oh yeah, he used to write on the paper, and like, I don't know what the kids were doing. Like, they were in like a dank basement. So,
are you talking about Space Ghost?
No, I'm not talking about Space Ghost.
Do you remember Space Ghost?
No, I don't even know what Space Ghost is.
You gotta get educated, dude. That show is the shit. Alright. Here's a question from Rachel at Twitter. And she said, this is I don't know how to answer this question. She said, if you were a superhero, what would be your power and name? And then she put a little cartoon cat like at the end of it, which I like the cat a lot. The cat is cute. So superhero.
It would just be Katie because I think my name's pretty awesome. I
You
really
wouldn't be
like
Super
it.
Katie? Like Katie,
No, it just-
Katie in the daytime and then Super Katie when you're being super?
This is one, you gotta think a lot about this
Yeah.
one for the name, but I really like my name.
What superpower would you want? I'd like to have bananas for hands.
What? That's the most useless thing I have ever heard of.
I just like bananas.
Today I think I would like the superpower of seeing through the bullshit. I had a really, really terrible job that I had to work on today, and it was just a tower of crap on a piece of paper. It was really bad, so I'd like to have that superpower for tomorrow at least, because I have to go back to that project.
I want to turn this question around and ask everybody what they think our superpowers or superhero names would be.
Or
That would
what
be
they
interesting.
are. Like, what do you...
What, do we have superpowers? My superpower is just being tall.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, mine is like having brown features.
Hair, eyes, etc. Hair, eyes. Let's see. I don't ever know how to say this person's name. It looks like Katie and Eric, but it's not.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Name. Yeah.
K-E-and-R-I-C. Karendrick? I don't know how to verbify this. On YouTube said, so Katie is the only one who ever drives when you guys do these Japan road trips. Is she the only one with a license, or do I just not like driving? She is the only one with a Japanese license. I have an American license that I don't think is expired. And so she's the only person of the two of us that can legally drive in Japan. And the reason behind that is because I don't have a car. We don't have a car. So there's not a whole lot of incentive for me to get a license, because if one of us can drive, then whenever we rent a car, there's only one steering wheel. So like, why would we need two licenses? And it is not simple to go get a driver's license. You have to go and you have to take a paper test, and then you have to take a driving test like on a track. And I've never met a foreigner, aside from Katie, who has passed this test on their first go. She passed it on her first go, and whenever we tell anybody, they're like blown away that she actually managed to pass this test. And like all the old men at the testing center were blown away, like, whoa, it's your first time? And like she went and did this years ago. And and it costs money. It's like $150 or something when you add it all up or something to get to do all the testing and stuff. So it's just not a lot of incentive for me to also have a driver's liceness if she has one.
And on top of it, it's like my hobby.
Yeah, she really likes
love
driving, as scary as it is.
Oh yeah, I'm a scary driver.
Man, you're getting better.
I'm getting better.
But there's moments.
Japan has made me a better driver.
Yeah, you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
You can't like drift
It's
off
really
or you'll kill
important.
someone.
Yeah, because there's so many bikes on the road.
Yeah. But that said, I would like to get a motorcycle license, and then we could have a motorcycle here. That would be a lot of fun. And, but I don't know, I just haven't. And let's see, I think I have this list.
They're not as good as I wanted them to be, just because I kind of...
Can I eat one? Can I touch? Is it okay?
Moved my concentration back and forth, but...
It's really good, though. The flavor is just wonderful.
You gotta have them. They gotta be, sugary.
Yeah, it's because they're a little bit sweet. And let's see, I'll do one more question. What is the place in Japan you have not gone but look forward to the most?
In Japan.
In Japan.
Well, it was Okinawa.
Yeah, so we did
we
that.
Just went there.
I'd like to go to Shikoku.
Shikoku.
It's this island. It's a bigger island, but it's the smallest of the 4 big islands. And it's kind of like south, kind of like Hiroshima area. And it's kind of like super
rural?
rural, yeah.
Yeah, rural.
Countryside type of thing,
yeah.
and there's a lot of temples and stuff, and a lot of people go on a pilgrimage that takes like a month to walk around to like this path that goes to all of the different temples.
I didn't
It's
know
kind of,
people were walking.
yeah, it's kind of like the Appalachian Trail, like of Japan a little bit. So I don't know.
We haven't thought about walking it, but we wanted to get like a van and just go around the whole thing.
Yeah.
In my head, it's the shape of a peanut. Is
Yeah,
it the shape of a
kind of,
peanut?
yeah,
I want to
kind
travel
of.
the peanut.
Yeah,
Peanut
that would be
Trail.
cool. There's also another island called Sado, I think. And I've wanted to go there. Yeah, I don't know if it's Aomoriken. It's
Niigata. Sorry, Niigata.
Yeah, and that would be a really cool place to go to. A lot of Japanese people told me to go there, and a lot of people watching our videos are like, you got to go to this place. But the distance that it is, in the transfers you have to make, like a boat and like a train and blah blah blah, it gets really hard to get out there with just a weekend. So that's what's always kind of put the kibosh on that. But yeah, it seems like going to very far places is easy, and going very close places is easy, but those medium places can be a bit difficult. But anyway, yeah, so that's the Philippine series, and like I hope that you guys enjoyed the series as much as we enjoyed going. It was exciting, and it's still exciting.
It's definitely
to
still
this
exciting.
day, it's still exciting. You got an infectious disease.
That may be with me for the rest of my life, and is certainly with me right now.
I'm sorry.
It has escalated this evening, and now I'm very tired and cranky. Oh God.
You turn on the spunk. You turn on the spark. Pretty good for the video, though. Nobody knew until you just said.
Yeah.
I knew.